welcome to this training. Well, it's not really a training, it's a free business coaching session where you can join me and ask me absolutely anything about business. I shared a post earlier this week and I invited some questions in advance. So I have got some questions from you, gorgeous ladies. Drop a hashtag replay if you are catching the replay, and please tag me if you have any questions when you are watching the replay as well, so then I get notified and I will make sure to come back and answer them. As always, the more you interact, the more you will get out of today. But before I get started on the questions, let me very quickly introduce myself to those of you who may be new to my world. My name is Anne Ryan. I live in Melbourne, Australia. I'm a business mentor and a money mindset coach, and I help my clients who tend to be coaches and consultants to package and position their value into a high ticket offer that is so freaking good that it practically sells itself. I show my clients how to accelerate their authority so they can take their prospects from cold to sold fast. I have a question on that today, which I will respond to as well. And I help them to implement a predictable, organic client attraction system that brings in consistent income month after month. And we achieve all of this working less than 4 hours most days. Now, if you'd like to explore what working with me looks like, drop a hashtag support below or send me a private message and I would love to have a conversation with you. I have just opened up 3 spots for one-to-one business coaching with me. This is very rare. I am very protective of my time. I rarely take on one-to-one clients, but yeah, I felt ready to. So I thought I would do that. I've got 3 spots available, so reach out to me if you want to find out more about that. Alrighty, let us get started. So some of these questions may be repeated a little bit and I will try and kind of answer them as best as I can. But if you have any questions, if you are catching me live now, drop them in the comments and I will answer them for you as well, because I'm sure I'll have the time. Alrighty. I have a question from the lovely Dawn, who said there's a couple of parts to this question. So her first part was, how do I nurture leads to grow my coaching business? Nurturing leads can be done in so many different ways, right? Think about the word nurturing. Think about when you're nurturing your loved ones, right? You pay attention, yeah? That's essentially how we nurture. We nurture through, so the opposite of nurturing is ignoring, right? So the more we can connect, the more we can engage, the more conversations that we have, the more we can demonstrate that we care, the more we nurture them, right? So in business, in the social media space, we've got to kind of come at it from a slightly different perspective. And sometimes nurturing is really just sharing really valuable content. Yeah. The more visible we are, and I know you have a question about visibility, which I'll answer separately, the more we can nurture them, right? So we nurture them through our content. We can nurture them through comments, through engaging in conversations, in Messenger. We need to demonstrate that we care, right? And we can show that through tagging them on, valuable trainings that might be helpful for them, or by sending them a message and saying, hey, I created this training and I immediately thought of you. So many different ways, right? But essentially, it's really not complicated. It's really not hard. It's a matter of getting out of our own way and showing that we care, right? So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if there's anything more to it and I will kind of address that accordingly. Second part of your question, Dawn, was I unpaused my Facebook group. How do I build my audience? Okay, so I've had a few questions about building audience as well, so I'll answer it here, and then I'll also make sure that I've captured what other people have asked as well. All right, so there are so many ways, again, to build your Facebook group. Now, how I do it is what I'm going to share, right? How I do it is I build my audience on my personal profile first. And how I do that is by sending friend requests to my ideal target market. So you can do the same. You just need to figure out where do they hang out and send them friend requests. Beyond that, I don't do any other outreach. I just send a friend request. I am very detached from whether or not people accept my friend request. And once they come into my world, they get to see my content, right? And then attraction marketing works from that point. And how I specifically get people into my Facebook group is by offering something of value on my personal profile, which will be available to them when they join my Facebook group. Simple. Simple, like everything that I do, right? And most of you have come into my world in exactly that way. You've seen a post that I've shared, you've said, yes, please, I'd like that. And then you've come into my Facebook group to actually access it. And that's how I grow my Facebook group, right? And that's how I've built my audience, and that's it. I mean, you can invite people. There are other ways you can do it, right? You can send messages to people. I get invited to Facebook groups all the time with long messages and all the things, and all the different ways work. It's a matter of finding what works for you and what you feel good about doing. Yeah. So I hope that was helpful. Again, let me know if there is anything more that you want me to add. Everyone is being so quiet. I can see that there are viewers. Oh my gosh, I can see there are lots of comments, but I can't actually read the comments. So guys, I can't read your comments. I can see there are 10 comments, but I can't actually read them. So I don't know how I'm going to do this. Jacelyn, I've only seen your comment that says hello, and that is it. Let's see how we go. Hopefully the comments will come back because I've still got a few questions to get through. Drop your questions anyway, and I promise you I will come back and answer them later if I don't see them during the live. All right. So Dawn had another question. Do you have suggestions to increase my visibility? Yes. I have many trainings on this as well. So drop a hashtag visibility if anyone specifically wants a training that I've already created on this topic. But to summarize those trainings, right, it comes down to two things. Yeah. Really good content helps with visibility, and also engaging in other people's content, right? Now, I won't go into that in much more detail because it is covered in a lot of detail in those trainings, but your content visibility, right? You are visible, but sometimes people are not necessarily stopping to like or love or comment or do things because whatever it is that you may have shared may not be relevant for them, right? Or there may not be you haven't hooked them in, right? So that's the content piece. It's really, really important that we share really potent content that people are really interested in, that they really want, right? That is going to help them to solve a particular thing, or that's going to inspire them, or that's going to educate them or something, right? Or that's incredibly engaging. So sharing content that's incredibly engaging can really help with visibility too, right? So the second part is engaging in other people's content. This is the thing that so many people are missing on social media, right? Why was social media originally created? It was created for engagement purposes, right? Subsequently, we all leverage social media for business. And a lot of us are scrolling through content, but not necessarily engaging. That's not good because that doesn't help the person who wants to be visible, and also it doesn't help ourselves, right? we become more visible the more we engage with other people's content as well, right? So that is how the algorithms work. It's not magic. Really potent, good content is massively helpful, right? Because no matter how much you can make yourself visible by engaging with other people's content, if you're not sharing content that is engaging, that is, attractive to people, that makes, that hooks them in, wants them to read, then that's a huge opportunity to help you out with visibility. My trainings talk more about how to increase your visibility by repurposing content and putting it in lots of different places. If you want to watch that, you can do that. Drop a hashtag visibility and we will get that training to you. Alrighty, moving on. I still can't see comments, but I can see that there are 12 comments there, so I apologize, but maybe I'll go through all the questions that I already have, and then I might check my phone actually. It's really bugging me. It is so bugging me. All right, Michelle, lovely Michelle. I've been actively working on generating leads for 2 possible offers. One is getting some explosive traction, awesome, and the other is moving along slowly. Okay, but I have a few responses. Great. I have 1 call today. She's worried about money, but I'm trying to figure out how to get them from cold to sold, as you say. Awesome. Again, I have gone into this in a lot more detail in an entire training, but I'm going to respond with the highlights, right? To summarize it. So for someone to make a buying decision fast, taking them from cold to sold is basically helping them to make a buying decision, right? In order for that to happen, we need to take them from know and trust really fast as well. And so how I do it is through the content that I share in here. People come into my world and they can binge watch so many trainings inside of this Facebook group and very quickly decide whether or not they want to be a client, whether or not they want to have a conversation with me to find out more about my coaching, right? So that's how I do it. And so my question to you is, do you have that? Do you have binge-worthy content that people can come into your world and get to know you, like you, and trust you really fast? So that's one aspect to it. The other aspect is, Michelle, not everyone is a fast decision maker, right? So that's something also to take into consideration. Some people just need time, and often we attract people like ourselves, right? I am a really fast decision maker. Now, this is also my belief system, yeah? And so 70% of my clients tend to come into my world really fast, right? And so there's nothing wrong with being a slow decision maker. Let me make that really clear. But that is something to be aware of. So it may not be that you're doing anything wrong. It may be that someone, just needs a little bit more time because you're the kind of person that needs a little bit more time too, right? I'm a strong believer in the law of attraction, and we often attract people like ourselves. Not always, but often. And so so to answer your question, how to take someone from cold to sold fast is give them the content, the information, the value that they need in order to be able to make that buying decision really fast as well. And then, understand and accept that some people just need more time, and that's okay, right? As long as you are consistent and showing up consistently, you will continue to bring in clients consistently as well. So it's all good. All right. So another question from Michelle, and you said, this was a bit tricky for me. And if you're here, Michelle, if you can ask me very specifically what it is that you'd like help with, I'm more than happy to expand on this more. But you said sales conversations, lead gen, closing sales, and delivery, what I would love to hear more about, which is pretty broad, right? And that could literally take me hours to cover all that. But if you're here, ask the question more specifically. What is it that you want to know about sales conversations? What is it that you want to know about lead gen? And then I might be able to help you, or closing sales, right? Because almost everything aside from delivery, I know I have trainings inside of this Facebook group, right? So even if you drop the hashtag, whatever word, lead gen or visibility or closing sales or whatever it is, we can get the appropriate trainings across to you. We can tag you on them. But I will answer it in a very, very general way, right? I've already spoken about audience building, which is the first step to lead generation. Yeah. And then the second part of lead generation is the content that takes them from being the audience to being a lead. And like I said, I share, on my personal profile that I'm delivering a training, who wants it, and people say yes, and then they become a lead. They go from just being in my audience to actually becoming a lead, or at least a member inside of this Facebook group. Yeah. And then, you nurture and you warm them up more, and then you might have a sales conversation, which you asked about. Now, again, I have a training on this, but the most important thing is to focus on what it is that your prospects need. As coaches, we're really passionate people. We so desperately want to help our clients, but sometimes we can get so focused on selling our offer, on solving the problem, that we haven't actually fully understood what it is the clients need, right? And so the most important thing is to really establish what it is that the prospects need. So then there's no convincing required. Then it's really a matter of saying, okay, from what you've shared, this is what you need. Am I right? Okay, well, are you open to hearing if my solution might be the right fit for you? And then telling them about your solution, but then stopping at each point and sort of saying, so let me give you an example. So I might say, I help you to create a high converting offer. Do you have that now? Do you think that would be helpful for you, right? And by asking those sorts of questions, they sell themselves, right? So then there's no convincing or anything else required. But check out my training. If you've checked it out before, watch it again. It is all in there. Hashtag sales if you want us to tag you on that training again. All right. Your next question, Michelle, was finding premium high-paying clients. Don't we all want to find them, right? And that's a good one too. So here's the thing. Premium high-paying clients are everywhere, right? But they don't have a sign that says, I'm a premium high-paying client. So we don't always know who they are. That's the thing. They are literally everywhere. We just don't know who they are. And it's our marketing and our offer that attracts these premium high-paying clients to us. It's not so much that we have to find them. They're everywhere. It's just that our offer, our messaging, our marketing, our positioning is what will actually attract them to us. Again, I have actually created a training on this as well. So maybe hashtag premium clients in order to get access to that training if you want to watch the whole training. But to summarize that, premium clients, they have the money, but they don't have a lot of time, right? They want quality over quantity. They want easy and fast over having to wade through lots and lots of modules and trainings and all the things. Now, they're not attracted to something that's cheap. That's the thing, right? So I don't know your price point. I don't know. So this is, I'm just talking in a very, very general sense. But if the offer is a low ticket offer, it's not going to attract a premium high ticket buyer, right? It's that simple, because they won't necessarily see the value in it. They won't necessarily see it as being something quality, right? And this is all perception, right? I know reality is something completely different, but this is perception. I've shared this example. I think it was in that training. I've shared it in one training somewhere along the way. That a test was done, a study was done, and many studies and tests have been done on this particular topic. But 3 bottles of clean skin red wine was offered to a group of people, right? So it was exactly the same wine that was in each bottle, but the labels were different, and they were told that one was kind of a budget wine, one was a mid-priced wine, and one was a high-end wine, right? And the tasters were asked to taste the wine and to assess them. And I'm butchering this study, by the way, but essentially they found that that the cheapest wine was the least tasty, least drinkable, and the most expensive wine was the best one. Now, it was exactly the same wine in the bottle, but it's the perception that these people had, right? Because of the labeling and the branding and because of what they'd been told. And that is a reality. That is a reality. So this is not about putting a high price on something that's not worth it, but this is about, if you want to attract premium clients, high ticket clients, you need to create that kind of premium offering as well. So it's not necessarily that it's your offer that finds them. And so I hope that was helpful. Let me know, because I still can't see any comments at all, but I'm happy to expand on that and tag you on that training as well. All right. My gorgeous client, Elaine, popped in here and asked this question. So I will go into this in a lot more detail with you, Elaine, but I will answer it here as well. What is the best way of building an email list? This is a great question, of course, and there are many ways to build an email list, but I'll touch on the 2 ways I do it. So one is when new members join this Facebook group, they share their email list, right? They share it in exchange for a free gift, and that is essentially the second way of building an email list. That is to create a resource, a free gift, a training. It could be an ebook, it could be a video training, it could be a cheat sheet, it could be something of value that your ideal clients, target market, want. And then you offer that in exchange for their email, right? So essentially, that's essentially what a lead magnet is. And that is the best way to get email addresses. And it can be anything essentially, but as long as it's valuable. And people now are getting more and more careful, right? Because they're so tired of getting spammed and whatever. They're not signing up for everything like they used to 5-10 years ago, right? So we just need to make sure that we package and position even that freebie in such a good way that people are willing to exchange their email in order to access that thing that's free. So, but I'm happy, Elaine, to talk about that in more detail with you as well when we next connect. All right. Next, I have a question from the lovely Kate. She said, do you have any proof for me of other people selling a high ticket offer in the motherhood, wellness, and transformation space? I just don't believe it's possible with my audience. This is, again, a really good question, right? To answer this question, I have to ask another question. Are you solving a high value problem? It depends on the problem that you are solving, right? So you mentioned motherhood, wellness, and transformation. If you didn't help your clients and if you didn't solve this problem for them, would they care? How much is it costing them? How much is it impacting them? How much is it impacting their family? That is the key, right? To understand the value of a problem. When you say, I just don't believe it's possible with my audience, then I suspect you're right. I suspect you're right, gorgeous woman, because it all starts with our belief system, right? So your belief is your reality. So if you don't believe people are willing to pay, then yes, you're right. People won't be willing to pay. That's not because they wouldn't be willing to pay some other coach. It's because that's your belief system. Our belief system means everything, right? And we need to shift our beliefs if they don't serve us. And I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way. I'm not saying that you're wrong because I don't know you and I don't know your audience specifically. But if that is your belief, then it's likely then is the reality, right? Because you create your own reality. I hope that makes sense. But essentially, going back to motherhood, wellness, transformation, I personally think within those niches, within those areas, there are some very, very high value problems that people are willing to pay for. I've had a parenting coach, a client who was a parenting coach that sold high ticket very, very successfully. And so, yeah, I hope that was helpful. All right, gorgeous Tiffany, I have your question next. I hope I didn't miss part of your question because it says, but how do you consistently bring in pre-qualified people that are positioned to convert in such a short time? Is it from groups, speaking engagements, etc.? Great question. They're not necessarily pre-qualified, right? It's like I build my audience on my personal profile. I send friend requests to people who I think would be interested in the work that I do. And after that, I just sit back, right? And like I said before, I'm really I'm not pre-qualifying them. I'm not doing anything. It's my content that's doing the work, right? I'm sharing content that is incredibly relevant and compelling for these people because I know who the people are. That's the thing. Like I know my audience and I know what they want. And so I share compelling content. I create trainings that I know will be helpful, and then I offer them. And that's how they come into this world, right? Into the Facebook group. And that's how they get to know me, like me, and trust me. And once they're inside of this Facebook group, the Facebook group does all the work for me. I only show up here once a week and do a training. But inside of this group, there are so many resources, right? Same now when people go to my YouTube, there are so many resources. People can make a decision really, really fast. And there's, last week I did a training on, the magnetic energy, and people can really feel our energy on video, right? And I know you're great on video too. And so it's like the more you can show up and share content, and I'm only doing it once a week. So I'm not here hustling 5 times a day, 5 times a week, right? That's how I do it. I build my audience on my personal profile. I offer something of value. I bring them into my Facebook group. I bring my A game, share everything. I don't hold back. I'm not afraid. I lead with generosity. I'm willing to give it all because I know there's so much more. There's so much more. There's so much more. I can answer absolutely every single question that is ever asked, and there's still more, right? And so, but this gives you a taste. My freebies give you, my free trainings give you a taste of what's possible. And then that's what ends up converting people faster. I don't really do speaking engagements or anything else. I don't go into other groups and engage and position myself as an expert in other people's groups. I don't do any of that. Not anymore. I probably did in the early stages of my business, but I haven't done any of that in a long time. I hope I answered your question. Let me know. Petra, lovely Petra. Very similar lines. Your question is lead generation. Where do new leads keep coming from into your world? If you only use your group and post on your personal Facebook profile to promote your weekly lives. Yes, that's it. That's essentially it, right? So um, that's all I do. I bring people from my personal profile into my Facebook group, but I grow my audience on my personal profile. And I don't do any cold outreach. I don't do anything. It's all attraction marketing. It's all what it is, ladies, is I understand my audience really, really well. I understand my ideal client really, really well. I know what it is that they really, really want. And yeah, that's the most important thing. And so if I'm offering people what they want, they're going to say yes, please, and they'll come into my world to get it, right? So it's really not that complicated, but it might feel like there's a lot of smoke and mirrors, but there's not. There's not. It's really, really simple. It's but we all have blind spots, and that's the issue, right? That's the thing. So because we're in our own blinkered world, that we don't see it, and this is where having a conversation with a coach immediately opens your visibility to what's possible, because two brains are always going to be better than one. Just saying. All right. Let me know if you want me to expand on that in any way, Petra. I'd be happy to. Eddie, I want to quickly enroll 6 to 8 into my online first group program without a list. What's the best way to do it? By the way, I've many years of experience teaching groups face to face. I'm not a newbie, but an experienced expert at what I do. First few will get the program at an unheard of low price, and I'd like to begin the program in September. Thanks. Awesome. Great. Okay. You don't need to have a list, right? You don't need to have a list. You just need to promote. How I would do it is this. This is my, okay, there are 2 ways of doing it, actually. One way is you go hard and you promote the offer directly. Yeah. And I shared a training on this, and I've called it, I think, the launch without a launch. That concept, right? I didn't launch. So launching is one option, and then the other option is you just create a lot of really quality content to take people on this journey and get them to jump on board, right? You don't need to have a list, but you need to have the right audience, or you need to build that audience really, really fast and get people who are interested in what it is that you have to offer to see what it is that you have to offer, right? And so hashtag no launch if you want to watch that training. If you haven't actually seen that training, I go into it in a bit more detail, where you create a little bit of hype, and you bring people into, ask people to sort of comment if they'd like to hear more and that kind of thing. And I've just done it entirely through posts. Yeah. The other option is to do a launch, right? And so what I mean by a launch is you invite people, you do your lead generation towards something of value, like a free training. It could be a 3-day training, a 5-day training, or even could be just a 60-90 minute masterclass. Something really valuable that knocks their socks off. And then on the back of that, you sell and you invite people to have conversations with you, right? And I'm really transparent. Like I'm, even when I'm doing that, it's not like you're tricking people, but it's, at the very beginning, you sort of say, at the end, I am going to be talking about my offer. I'd love you to hang around and hear about it, but I'm here to share some value as well, right? And that is what I do. That's what I would do, right? And to enroll 6 to 8 people quickly, I would reach out to my warm audience because there's no faster way to sign up clients than through our warm audience because they already kind of know and like us, right? And so it's how the majority of my clients get incredible results, and their ROI in their very, very first month is from us creating an offer and putting it in front of their warm audience. So I'm being really transparent there. It's not to say, and if you don't have a warm audience, it doesn't mean that it can't be successful. It just takes a little bit longer because you need to take people on this journey, right? And yeah, and and if you've got some sort of early bird pricing and that kind of thing, then obviously, you need to promote that. And you might promote it to people and say, those who make a commitment or who book in a call, I don't know if you're going to sell through calls or whether you've got a sales page or however it is that you're planning on selling, really like get visible on this, right? And make sure that you get as many people across what it is that you're promoting. I know that's a little bit broad and vague, but I don't know your specific situation to be able to kind of go much deeper than that. So I'm happy to answer any other questions that you may have. Let me just see if I can even access the questions on through my Facebook group. Since I've changed the banner of my Facebook group, I don't even recognize it myself. I kind of see this dark banner and I'm like, oh, actually, that is me. All right. Oh, look at all these beautiful comments. Thank you, gorgeous ladies. I'm so sorry. I didn't. I need to hold on. Sorry. 1 second. Let me turn the volume down and then let me see if I can actually. How do I get to the comments? I know that they're there. Oh my gosh, I am really having such a bad tech day. All right. Thank you, Jacelyn. Other people are watching with you. I know. How random, right? Everything's freaking changed and I couldn't read anything at all. Hello, Andrea. Thank you for being here. You thought it was on at 11 a.m. Oh my gosh, did I send the wrong time? I hope not. Well, I'm glad you're here. Hello, Edie from Seattle. I just answered your question. Let me know if you want me to expand on that at all. Hello, Holly. Good to see you. Can we discuss organic attraction, the different types of organic reach, specifically leveraging the groups on Facebook that maybe we aren't admins for? Okay. All right. So, Holly, I don't really use that strategy, right? But yes, there are Facebook groups where we can go and promote in, and there are some groups that allow it on certain days. There are some groups where you can pay. You can be a paid member and they allow it on any day. And there are sneaky ways of promoting in groups without seeming like we're promoting in the group, right? And personally, I'm not a huge fan of that strategy. It works. Like, don't get me wrong, it works. I probably did it in the very, very early days, but ultimately, it is so easy to get lost amongst all the other people in that group who are also doing the same thing, right? And so, which is where I prefer to build my own audience, and it actually doesn't take long at all in order to build that audience and to start leveraging our personal profiles. Our personal profiles is hands down the most visible place to be. Right, it's more, we get more visibility on our personal profiles than we do in a Facebook group, right? We get more visibility in our own Facebook group than we ever will in somebody else's Facebook group. Let me tell you what happens. When you go into somebody else's Facebook group, only people who are friends of yours in that other Facebook group will be notified when you post in there, right? So everyone else will only come across your content by accident, So there's that as well, right? But that's not to say it doesn't work. It does work, but it's a lot more of a hustle sort of business model. And you know me, I don't like that. So um, when it comes to answer your question though, assuming you're still happy to go ahead, it's a matter of understanding what it is that that audience wants, right, inside of that Facebook group as well, and really sharing a lot of value sells, guys. Like, lead with generosity, don't be afraid to really go above and beyond to help people, and it pays back tenfold. you know People will buy from you because they'll be so grateful. I've been in paid masterminds and coaching programs where my colleagues in the programs have ended up becoming clients with me, have ended up becoming a client because of the level of support I provided them. And I did it because I wanted to, not because I expected anything in return, right? And so, yeah, it's the value, it's value that's attractive. Attraction marketing isn't complicated. It's a matter of leading with value, right? Of course, the first line, the hook, is the most important thing to stop people from scrolling past the content that we share. The image that we use can really help. Creating any sort of pattern interrupt on, in the news feeds can really help. But ultimately, it's the value is what I believe else, right? That leads people to then end up in your inbox as well, in your messenger. Hey, Andrea, what's the best way to set myself up as leading authority, as a manifesting and wellness coach that stands out compared to all other coaches? Love it. The best way. Authenticity is so important, right? And for people to be able to see your heart, and it the best way is to just say what you want to say, be who you want to be, and that's what people are going to recognize as you being an authority, right? Leaders lead without needing permission. They say what they want to say without worrying about judgment or fear or how people are going to perceive that and all the things. Ultimately, ladies, we are here to serve, right? We want to make a difference in people's lives. We want to solve our clients' problems, right? And so if we truly in our heart believe that we can do that, then we shouldn't have any fear, hesitation, or shame in, like, broadcasting that from the rooftops. We need to learn to brag. We need to, like, talk about results, talk about our results, talk about client results. Now, it's not always about money, right? Now, as a business coach, it makes sense for me to talk about money. But if you, like Holly, and you're a productivity coach, you might talk about saving time. If you're Andrea and you're a manifestation type coach, then you might talk about all the different things that you've manifested and you've helped your clients manifest, right? If we don't brag about these things, no one will know. We will be the world's best kept secret. That aside, from an authority perspective, the more we can teach and demonstrate our expertise, the more we will be seen as an authority. It's that simple, right? So there's that balance between teaching and showing as well, right? That we've figured this out. We're just a few steps ahead. Hope that was helpful, Andrea. Let me know if you want me to go any deeper into that. Drop your questions and I will send them to Anne through Messenger. Oh, thank you, Holly. Okay, cool. I think I have answered everyone's question on here. I think I've answered everyone's question. Does anyone have anything else that they want me to expand on? Let me know if I have missed anything. I don't think I have, but otherwise, I am going to love you and leave you, and I will always come back and read uh, and respond to every single comment as well. So in case I missed someone's, I will come back and answer it. So random, right? Technology. Don't you just love it? And I've been thinking about changing technology as well, and it's like my biggest nightmare. Oh my gosh. But thank you for the amazing questions that you asked. I love answering questions. This just totally lights me up. Um, you know, I do this every, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks or so, and I don't, as you, some of you may know, I don't offer free coaching in Messenger because it's like I want it. Coaching is for my paying clients, right? That's it. But I'm willing to answer questions in these kind of environments in a group kind of format because then I know it's benefiting everyone, right? It's valuable for everyone, and that's my intent. I work with my clients and they invest in me and I go above and beyond to support them and answer absolutely any question that they may have. And then equally, I am really happy to support inside of this free community because this is where I have more impact, right? Because I can't work with absolutely everyone. Not everyone can invest in working with me either, which is okay, which is perfectly fine. But then I know through the questions and answers that I share publicly here, everyone gains from that, right? And it's the same. It's the same in my group coaching calls in my paid containers as well. Like I often get clients who come in and they're kind of like, I'm just here to listen. I'm just here to absorb and just listen because I know they know that they get so much out of other people's questions as well. They kind of have their own aha moments and they're kind of like, right, okay, yeah, actually, I do have a question now. Now that someone else said something, it's prompted another thought and another idea for me. So thank you again for being here. I love you all. And let me have one final. My personal page, Tanya, because it is where we get the most visibility. It's as simple as that, right? This is my mindset. I use social media for business. Having said that, because my close friends and family, I connect with them outside of social media. My mindset is I'm using my social media for business. Facebook is a fantastic platform to leverage for business. It is not necessarily my most favorite platform to leverage with friends, right? And so I use it for business, but I need to be respectful of the rules around social media. It is a social platform and I never sell on my personal profile, but I share a lot of valuable posts and content to move people into my Facebook group. And so, but yeah, without a doubt, your personal profile is where you have the most visibility. It is your gold mine. That is why. Business pages, unless you pay Facebook for advertising or for boosting, no one sees. When I say no one, maybe 2% of your audience will see the content that you share on your business page. It's a very small percentage. It's a known thing, right? I'm not making this stuff up. It's known. That's how Facebook makes money. And so, of course, we need to be careful when we're leveraging our personal profiles for business. I wouldn't share Stripe links or PayPal links. I know many other people that do. I don't. I never sell directly from my personal profile. But yeah, it's where I'm most visible. It's where you can be most visible too. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I will catch up on all the comments and I will see you again very soon. I am away in Bali next week, so I won't be doing a Facebook Live from Bali, but I will be back the week after. So thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.